This video is going to be looking at adding and subtracting negative integers, and once again we are going to use a number line to help us. But before we get there, I just want to make sure that everyone understands what the opposite of a number is. So if we're looking at these numbers over here, what are their opposites? Well, the opposite of 4 is negative 4, the opposite of 6 is negative 6, the opposite of negative 3 is positive 3, and the opposite of negative 7 is positive 7. Now with that in mind, we can go on to adding a negative integer. And the rule for adding a negative integer is equal to subtracting its opposite. So if we had this sum, how would we solve it? So using the rule, we're going to add a negative integer over here is equal to subtracting its opposite. So we could rewrite it like this: 2 subtract 3. And how did I get that? Well, my 2 stays the same. We're going to add a negative, therefore we need to subtract its opposite. So the positive becomes a subtract, and the negative 3 becomes a positive 3. And therefore 2 subtract 3 is equal to negative 1. So I'll use the number line just to prove this little point. I'm going to plot my 2, and then from the previous rule that we had, which states that if a positive number is subtracted from an integer, then you move to the left. So we're actually going to move this way, and we're going to move that way 3 times, therefore my answer is going to be negative 1. Alright, well, why don't you give this one a go? Put the video on pause and come back when you're ready. Alright, well, this can be rewritten as minus 4 stays where it is, and using the rule above where we add a negative number is equal to subtracting its opposite, we become subtract, and what is the opposite of negative 6? It is a positive 6, so it's 6 over there. So negative 4 subtract 6, so negative 4, we're taking away more negative numbers, as in 6 more, becomes negative 10. So let's use the number line to prove that. Here we are at negative 4, and we have got to subtract another 6 from it. So we've actually got to go this way 6 more times. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 ends up at negative 10, and that is correct. What about subtracting a negative integer? Well, the little rule here is subtracting a negative integer is equal to adding its opposite. So this sum here could be rewritten like this: 5 added to 2. And once again, where did I get that? Well, my 5 stays where it is, and because I'm subtracting a negative integer, it's equal to adding its opposite. So the subtraction over here becomes a positive, or an add, and our negative value over here becomes its opposite, which is a positive number. So therefore the answer for this particular question is going to be 7. And this one should be quite easy to prove on the number line. We've got our number 5, which is over there. We are adding a positive number, therefore we move to the right, and we move twice, therefore our answer is equal to 7. Right, well, here's another one for you to have a practice with. Put the video on pause and come back when you're ready. Well, once again, I'm going to rewrite this. My negative 2 stays where it is, and because I am subtracting a negative integer, it's equal to adding its opposite. So I'm going to go plus 8, because the opposite of negative 8 is a positive 8. Therefore, negative 2 add 8 is going to give me positive 6. And once again, let's prove it on the number line below. So we've got negative 2 is our start point, and we're going to add 8 to it. And if we're adding, we need to move to the right. So if we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and I end up at 6. Well done. And that's adding and subtracting negative integers.